Well, good morning. Good morning. You're watching the Couples Academy show on this very Tuesday morning. We're so happy to see you all. Happy to see Brother Rod with us sharing this morning.
Good
And so we hope
morning.
you guys had a great weekend. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well, Roland. Always a pleasure to be on here with you.
Great, great, man. So, hey, listen, it's that time of the year. We're talking about spring cleaning, spring cleaning. But before we get started, we want you to like, share, and subscribe. Let everyone know that we are on and you are watching. So make sure that everybody get what they need. Don't be selfish. Let everybody know that we are here. So we're talking about spring cleaning. It's that time of the year when you start seeing garage sales popping up because people are cleaning out and getting rid of the old and coming in with the new. They're letting some things go. They're letting some things pass on. And it's that time of the year where you want to have a fresh start. It's the beginning of spring. And listen, we know that there's been some things that needs to change, not in just our homes, but also in our lives and our marriages. And so this is that time that we want to talk about spring clean your marriage. Spring clean your marriage. Now this is something new because I've never heard of it before in times past, but I know that it's a principle that should be used and should be practiced by many because we have some things, some attitudes and some dispositions that we have in our marriages, in our lives that we know that we can get rid of that has contributed to the demise in some areas in our marriages. So spring cleaning your marriage is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So you can let some weight go and take on some new adventures and do some new things in your marriage. What you think about that, Rod?
Well, I mean, Roland, just spring in itself kind of gives everybody a new bounce in their step. It refreshes. You're coming from the cold winter into better temperature, depending on where you live. And it's just a newness about the spring. I mean, if you're into nature, most of the animals are born in the spring. If you're into the outdoors, the trees start blooming again, the grass start greening again, things just start coming to life. So why wouldn't you want your marriage to again come back to life, even if it wasn't dead? A newness that comes with the spring.
Absolutely. The oxymoron says that the only thing that remains the same is change. And
Yeah.
even the time has changed. The weather is changing. So why not allow your marriage to change and be better than it was, be better than it is, and live our best lives in our marriages and as individuals. So
Yes.
let's jump right into this. Spring clean your marriage. And one of the first things we want to do is take a walk down memory lane. Come on, we know how we were when we first met one another, and that feeling we got in our stomach, that glittery feeling that we got in our stomach, and we were so anxious to see our spouse, so anxious to see the person that we say we were in love with. They were our sunshine, an apple of our eye, and we was just looking for them all the time, right? And sometimes we have to walk down memory lane, even when it becomes Nightmare on Elm Street, right? When we get to the hustle and bustle of life and things are not quite how we thought they would be or how we thought that we deserved them to be. And sometimes we have to go down memory lane to remember how things used to be so that can catch us up to spark and reignite some things in our marriages and in our relationships.
Yes, Roland, sometimes in order to move forward, you have to go back. And going back is what exactly what you're talking about. Remembering when we were courting or when we were dating, or remembering those nights when it was you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up. And you just go back and forth, falling asleep on the phone. And then early parts of the marriage, maybe before kids, where it was just you and your spouse, and y'all could be spontaneous, wake up in the morning, nothing to do, okay, let's take a drive or let's take a walk. And all those warm and fuzzy feelings that sometimes we forget about.
Yeah, we absolutely can forget about those things, and then we wonder why the marriage has gotten stale, or why we find ourselves in a place of stagnation, and it's boring. Now all of a sudden the marriage is boring, because we have not done those things to kind of reignite it and keep things going, keep the fire lit. I see the fire behind you. Keep the fire lit in
Yeah.
our marriages, in our relationships. The next one we want to do is get back to checking in. We want to check in with our spouses and see how they're doing. We can't get
Yes.
so caught up in the mundane things of life that we don't check in and check in on one another. How are you going? How are you doing? We are constantly growing all the time. And if we keep that in mind, because we're constantly growing, we have to be able to check in and see how our spouses are doing. We've been through some trials and tribulations, and we want to know that we're not just putting on a happy face to be safe. We want to know that we are actually moving about, we showing a level of care and concern for one another, even as we walking through this journey together.
Yeah, I mean, Rolling, checking in can be such a positive thing to the person that's doing the checking and the person that's receiving being checked on. I mean, think about it. When we do it for our parents, when they get elderly or old, we check on them. We do it for our kids. We do it for our co-workers that may be sick and missing work, or those that may have moved to another role. We check in with everybody and we forget about the most important person in our life, our spouse, sometimes, because we see them maybe every day. We spend time with them. We think we get to a comfort level where we feel like, okay, well, everything is good. Everything, if it wasn't, they would bring it up. But it's nothing like somebody saying, "How are you doing today?
Right.
How are you feeling? You know, what's on your mind?" That check-in can go a long way and really open up a sense of intimacy that wasn't there before.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, we think intimacy is just about the bedroom, but intimacy is those conversations that we have when we're not in the bedroom. We're not even thinking about the bedroom, but we having those vulnerable and sincere and genuine conversations with each other because we really do care about one another. So we're going to go back to get back to checking in, but we also want to make sure we look under the carpet for hidden resentments. What you think about that, Rod?
Well, it's funny, when most people think about hidden under the carpet, you think about the old cartoons or TV shows where somebody sweeps everything under the carpet, and you know what happened. All of a sudden, in the middle of the floor, there's a big mountain because everything has been swept under the carpet, and it's important that that mountain doesn't grow. It's important that you look under the carpet and clean under the carpet and have those conversations, so that mount doesn't get big. Now there may be some times where the atmosphere or the situation is not suitable for the conversation that needs to happen, but there needs to be an environment, there needs to be an intentionality about having those tough conversations in order to keep that mound from growing and to keep that, to refresh the relationship.
Absolutely. There was a song some time ago, "Sweep Around Your Own Front Door." And sweeping around the front door does not mean sweeping everything underneath the rug, right?
Yeah.
We want to sweep around it to make sure we sweep things away and not pile up. Because again, you're angry with your spouse and your spouse doesn't know why. You're angry with yourself and you haven't told anybody why. And so when we hold these resentments and have these feelings towards our spouse or towards life itself, it shows up in other areas. And we want to make sure that we spring clean in a way that we're not holding on to grudges or holding on to past hurts and disappointments. We want to make sure that we are in a place that we can live freely and walk and move in a different way. Put like you want to have what is it? You want to be light on your feet.
Yeah.
when you're moving during the springtime, it's supposed to be a happy time. It's supposed to be full of joy and sunshine and flowers blooming. And that's what you want in your marriage as well. And so we have to make sure that we are not holding on to resentments and keeping them hidden underneath the carpet. Okay. So we have to take everything out. We have to brush everything off. And some things we just have to simply get rid of. Okay. So we might have to get rid of the whole carpet sometimes to have a fresh start. Right. The next one we want to do is check your assumptions. Wow. Check your assumptions. What you think about that, Rod?
Well, the root word of assumption is assume, and you know what they say about assuming.
Right, right.
But I mean, the a more serious point of, check your assumptions mean to really do a self-evaluation. And if there's any questions about your spouse, your relationship, a situation, ask the question. I don't know why people are so hesitant about asking questions. That's the only way we're going to find out, instead of assuming or letting images in our mind just take over and take us places that we should never go.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask your spouse what's going on. Again, defaulting back to that check-in.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them. Don't assume that everything is fine, just like you shouldn't assume everything is bad.
Right.
Ask.
Right. We have a question from Mysterious 86. She says, what if you're checking in but not getting checked on in return? What if you're checking in but not getting checked on in return? Hey, listen, you're not in a relationship by yourself. You're on a two-way street, right? It takes two to tango, as we say. If it takes two to tango, it takes two to be checking on each other. And we have to make sure that we are equally checking on each other in a way that there is a level of care and concern towards each other, and not just, you're checking in and it's not being reciprocated. We get so selfish sometimes in our ways and our behaviors that we just think that it's all about us. Even though we're in a relationship, we want what we want when we want it, but we're not reciprocating that same attitude and holding on to that same energy to be able to check in on our spouse, even though they're checking in on us. So I would encourage you to have a hard conversation to say, listen, and bring it to their attention. Sometimes they might not even be aware that that's what's happening. So bring it to their attention, have the conversation, and let them know that you would like to be checked in on as well. What you think, Ryan?
We roll in the other piece of that too. Personality and the Enneagram number and all that plays a factor in a person's, how they show up sometimes. If you have a more reserved spirit or more reserved personality, then you may not show up and check on people as assertively or as aggressively or proactively as somebody else. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you have to think about your motives. If you're the person that's checking in, why are you checking in? Are you checking in for it to be reciprocated? Are you checking in to set the tone for your spouse to see it and mimic the action? Or are you checking in because the motive is you out of love? You sincerely care and concern about your spouse. And I'm not saying Mysterious 86 is in this situation, but if your motive is right and you give off the right spirit, then the law of attraction says it will come back to you. Even if the person that you're checking on doesn't reciprocate it, somebody will reciprocate it because of the motive and the spirit behind the check-in.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense, Rod. And we have to know what our motive is when we're doing certain things, and what is the expectation that we're looking for in return when we set out to do these things. Hey, listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hey family, Hassani and Danielle here, and I want to tell you about the Phoenix Awards Gala happening on October 7th, 2023. Couples Academy is hosting its first annual Phoenix Awards Gala, a celebration of perseverance, patience, and persistence, focused on couples who have endured and overcome significant hardships in their marriages.
Nominees of this prestigious award will have come to the brink of destruction in their marriage without giving up, and are living a testimony to what is possible when two stand as one.
This is no ordinary gala. We are honoring 5 of the most resilient couples across the U.S. and abroad. And here's the most exciting part. You get to pick our nominees. And there's more. Wear your most exquisite gowns and black tie ensembles and prepare for a 50-foot red carpet, cocktail reception, dinner, live music, and dancing. We're going to raise the roof and the standard for marriages on October 7th, and we want you to be there.
For tickets, go to couplesacademy.org/events.
Hey, listen, folks, welcome back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. My name is Roland, and we have our brother Rod sharing with us. Listen, the gala is coming up October 7th, and you want to be in the building. When we do things first class. You want to make sure you wear your baddest gown and your flyest tuxedo. Listen, we're going to be Oscar ready. You want to be there, or you want to hear about it. You know, every time we do things, it sells out, and it sells out fast. I would encourage you to go ahead and secure your ticket, get your spot, be in the building, and you have more than enough time to get yourself together. Come to Atlanta, have a nice time, a nice venue, nice hotel, make it a weekend. Hey, listen, we talked about going back and reminiscing about old times. It could be your prom all over again. It could be your wedding reception all over again. Take advantage of this great opportunity, the inaugural gala event that we're going to be having. We're going to be celebrating marriages. We're going to be celebrating couples, and we're going to be lifting all things up that are Couples Academy that we work towards every single day. So listen, I'm encouraging you. I'm telling you, don't say nobody didn't tell you. You're going to hear about it. You're going to be like, I wish I was there. You know, so go ahead and get your tickets. Go ahead and get your gown and your tuxedo so you could be fly and in the building. And listen, we also have Last Chance Weekend. Last Chance Weekend is a very transformational and most powerful experience that any marriage that is on the brink of divorce, that have fallen on the wayside, you want to experience it. It's every second weekend of the month. The next one is going to be the third weekend, because the second weekend is Easter weekend in April. I'm telling you, you want to get in. If you are on the brink of divorce or having issues in your marriage, come, let us work with you so that you can be healed, your marriage can be transformed, and you as individuals, you can see the difference and the growth within yourselves. So those are our events. I would love to see you guys. Make sure you reach out, call us for more information if necessary. Go to the website and check us out and be in the building. We're talking about spring clean your marriage. Spring clean your marriage. The next thing we want to talk about is create happy memories, or I like to say create new memories. So
Mhm.
listen, we always talk about, our children, what they remember and stuff like that. We take them to, different attractions and different things, and they remember when they went, when they were little kids. We remember as adults, when our parents took us on vacations and stuff like that. But I think sometimes we fail to realize that even as adults, we are creating memories for ourselves as well. When we're sitting old in the rocking chair, we want to be able to tell our children and our children's children some memories that we had as a married couple, right? And so we want to make sure that we create new memories. If we're gonna get rid of the old and bring in the new, we want to have new and happy memories that we can establish now. We've grown, and some things that I may not have wanted to do in times past, I'm willing to do those things now. And let's be adventurous. Let's be spontaneous. Let's create new memories that we can have some things that we can talk about and some things that we can do.
Roland, and if you're talking about new memories, what better way to have a new memory than the gala that you just talked about? That is a great opportunity to create a new memory. But in addition to that, if you're talking about a relationship that has had that has suffered through betrayal, I mean, obviously at Couples Academy, we deal with that quite frequently. In order to get past a lot of those bad memories, you have to create new memories. You have to create a new marriage. In order to do that, then you have to create a new mindset. You have to have a willingness that you're not going to live in what happened in the past, whether it was the pain, the hurt, the betrayal. If you and your spouse has agreed that we want the marriage, then new memories should be at the top of your list. New memories, new experiences, better experiences, because you don't want the same old, like you said, Roland. You don't want that same old marriage. You want something new. So what better way again than the gala, than last chance weekend, then Couples Academy services, Foundry, Unearthed. I mean, you talking about new memories. We got all kind of resources that can help with new memories at Couples Academy.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how long ago the affair was or whenever it was, whenever the hurt or betrayed was, just make sure that we replace old things with new things, right? I don't have a green thumb. I don't think I do anyway. But they always say that when you take a tree up, you actually have to replace it with another tree, or you have to replace it with fresh soil, so that area can be maintained. And so a lot of times what we do is we are betrayed, we are hurt, and we just sit in it. We don't create new things. We don't revisit some things that have hurt us to make sure that those things don't hold us hostage or keep us in bondage. We have to free ourselves. And the best way that we can do that is by punching our past in the face and making sure
Mhm.
that our past does not take hold of us, but we create new memories, we create new experiences, we create happy times for ourselves and for our marriages. There's a question uh, from Ms. Valentine. It says, how can you effectively check in and move forward if an affair problem keeps surfacing in the mind and in many conversations? Well, it sounds like it hasn't been dealt with. It sounds like we have not addressed the situation. It sounds as if we just keep kind of dancing around the issues or don't even want to deal with the issues that are at hand. And so when you say how do we effectively check in and move forward if the affair problem keeps surfacing, well, if it keeps surfacing, that means we have to put it to bed. We have to have the hard conversation, and we have to again replace it with some things. Once we deal with it, then we can move forward. But we won't ever
Yeah.
be able to deal with it if every time it comes up, we don't want to have the conversation. This is not the right time. I don't feel well. It is, we find every excuse to not deal with the issue. And so that's why it keeps surfacing up, because we'll talk about it or we'll kind of dance around it. It'll go down. And then sooner or later, it'll come right back up. And we have to deal with these hard conversations so that they don't keep surfacing in your mind or keep coming up in conversations. What you say, Rod?
Yeah, I mean, there's read that question, Roland. There's so many questions that popped in my head, but also there's opportunity as far as, I mean, even the topic that we're talking about today. I mean, it sounds like maybe there was some stuff brushed under the rug that needs to be rug pulled back, and let's talk about it. It sounds like that some old memories, some old bad memories are creeping up that we've been avoiding. It sounds like that we're not ready or willing to make new memories because we're still stuck on the memory of the affair. So to Roland's point, we have to address the elephant that's in the room. You know, one suggestion, if you haven't reached out to Couples Academy, reach out to Couples Academy and let us help you with that process. In addition to that, there has to be a willingness to have a tough conversation and an honest conversation, first with yourself, and then second with your spouse. And both parts have to come to the table with a willingness to, let's address this, let's discuss it in detail, let's get over it. And again, if you need help with that, we at Couples Academy can definitely help you with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we're walking through this. Spring clean your marriage. It says if you broke it, fix it. If you broke it, fix it. You laughing, Rod? What you say on that?
Hey, growing up, walking through the store, you heard two voices. You heard a parent's voice say, if you break it, you own it, or you better fix it. Or you heard somebody that's tied to the store say, if you break it, you bought it.
Yes.
So I like this one says, if you broke it, fix it. And the good thing is, it puts it makes you accountable. If you're the person in the relationship, and I'm not just talking about if you are the betrayer, if you were the one that committed infidelity, or you're the one that's the liar. I'm not even talking about it from that perspective. I'm talking about the person that in the midst of the conversation, you walk off because you don't like the way it's happening. Or, you're late, you promised your spouse that, we're going to do something, and then you no-show them or you show up late. That means something is broke. That means you have the power and you should be accountable for fixing it. You cannot just leave it broken. You cannot leave it just lingering. You cannot ignore it. It's not going to go away on its own. You have to step up, call it up, address it, and then be willing to move forward from there.
Absolutely. Like you say, you have to become responsible for your actions. You have to take ownership for what you have done and make sure that you overcompensate for making up for that. There has to be a level of remorse on steroids when you say you want your marriage and you want to show up differently. It can't just be, oh, just trust me and get over it, or just, just forgive me, because I'm a new person. No, there has to be some evidence of that. There has to be some consistency of evidence of that. And we have to just make sure that we do what we have to do to fix what we have broken. And sometimes we have to go the extra mile. We have to stay up a little later. We have to just do everything that we need to do to make sure that the issue has been rectified and brought to light in a better way. Listen, the last one is more gratitude, please. More gratitude, please. Yes, please, and thank you. My parents taught me and raised me to always say thank you, because no one has to do what they do for you. No one has to be nice to you. No one has to show you love when they do. But not only that, there has to be a level of appreciation. If you don't understand the value of a thing, you will misuse or abuse it. And likewise with our spouses, if we don't understand their value, if we don't appreciate who they are, if we don't tell them that we appreciate them, we can begin to misuse and abuse who they are as a person, and we begin to take away and strip the fabric of who they are as an individual. So we want to make sure that we are telling our spouses thank you for any and every little thing. We want to make sure that they know that we are grateful that they're in our lives, and we want to make sure that they really genuinely understand that they are the best thing that ever happened to us. And when we do that, the level of care and love that we have for one another will resonate, and other people will see it. And then it will be our light so shine that so many other people see us when we're walking about and seeing how we move.
Roland, it's so hard. If I'm grateful, if I'm showing gratitude on a regular basis, looking at the little things, being grateful, it's hard to be upset, or it's hard to be mean. It's hard to fall into a trap and be stuck, because you're focusing on gratefulness and being and the gratitude that, like you said, nobody has to do anything for another person. Mm-hmm. So when an act of kindness is done, especially by a loved one, a simple thank you, and I appreciate it, I'm grateful for you, that meant a lot to me. That goes a long way, because everybody wants to be appreciated, and especially by a loved one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, folks, listen, you were watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about spring clean your marriage. Make sure you go to the website. You can see all the information about the gala. Make sure you give us a call at the number that's on our website. You can have any questions about the gala, Last Chance Weekend. We hope that you had a great day with us, and we will see you on tomorrow. Thank you for sharing. Spring clean your marriage.